into another Mercy Health matchup as we preview games in the Skyline Chili Crosstown Showdown. I'm Richard Skinner. He's Tom Gamble. This week we got a great one for you. Probably the best rivalry in Cincinnati, at least over the last 10 to 15 years. St. Xavier at Colerain, private versus public. Both state champions over the years. It doesn't get any better than this.
No, I get to return to my alma mater. Will they have me back?
I don't know. That's the big key.
We'll have the tailgate at the Showdown. We'll tell you more about that. But you are right. This is definitively the game. I mean, this series renewed in 2011. And since, I'm going to go back a year before that, since 2010, they've played 16 times. Think about that. That means regular season, postseason.
Feels like it's almost every year.
Well, it has been each of the last 5 years. Colerain leads that series since then, 9-7. But boy, oh boy. And you know, it's funny, I was talking to Bombers coach Steve Specht, and I said, I'm thinking to myself, 2016 had to be the best game. That's where Colerain led by double digits, and St. X stormed back to win in the postseason up at Hamilton in overtime, 29-23, went on to that improbable state title. But he actually said, not so fast. He said, how about 2005? St. Xavier's first state title. They played twice. St. X won 7-0 week 1 and then won again 12-9 in OT.
Yeah, I remember that game well.
On a Darius Ashley TD reception. But it's an unbelievable series. Perennially, they're two of the best teams in the state, and this year probably no different.
Yeah. Colerain both then are 1-0. Colerain coming off a win over Huber Heights Wayne 28-19. Got a big performance from running back Hamza Abdul-Wahid. They really didn't do a lot on offense, just a little over 200 yards, but defensively, they held Wayne to the 200-yard number.
Well, they did, and Deshaun Pace, who, of course, is verbally committed to the University of Cincinnati, at Javon Hicks, who's playing well there, a Colerain alum. But no, Colerain's defense, I think it's going to take them a little while. I mean, people need to realize they lost an awful lot to graduation, but that's a quality win, and that's the way to start the Sean Cutright era, taking over for Tom Bolden. They went to Wayne in Huber Heights, and they led by just a couple before they got, well, he'd scored that late TD. He had a couple of them. Nonetheless, they win 28-19, and when you're on the road against a team like Wayne, a win is a win is a win.
St. Xavier coming off a win over Brownsburg, Indiana. They were actually ranked second in Class 5A in the state of Indiana, so a good win. They were down at halftime in that game, came back to win. Big performance from Matthew Reevy, the quarterback, threw for 301 yards, 21 of 35 passing. That's a good sign because he can really be a difference maker for that offense.
Well, I think with a new offensive coordinator, Andrew Coverdale, who was previously at Louisville Trinity, you're going to see a different St. X offense. They're going to throw it around. He was 21 of 35, as you mentioned, Reevy. And they outscored Brownsburg 22-0 in the final two quarters. But here's what's most impressive. They scored on a fumble recovery for a TD that was returned, a punt return on a short field, and then they also scored an offensive touchdown. So I think this is a St. Xavier team that I think if they, they're always pretty darn good defensively. And in fact, Colerain, since winning its state title in 2004, has been shut out twice.
Let me guess, both by St. Xavier.
You are correct. In that 2005 opener, 7-0, and in 2009, 16-0. So I think this has the makings. You talk about a critical game to take into GMC play the following week for Colerain, and then as St. X has its normal rigorous schedule later in the GCL South, this will be a darn good one.
No question. All right, not only do you have the game, but talk about the pregame tailgate as well.
You're correct. Starting at 5 o'clock, and for anybody who knows Colerain High School, it's to the right of the flagpole. You know what I mean,
right? The big flagpole.
Well, the big flagpole right in front of the school will be set up there. It's another tailgate at the Showdown. I'll be there co-hosting along with former UC QB Tony Pike. We'll have Joe and Jeremy from Fox 19 Sports, Lindsey Patterson from Cincinnati.com. We have both coaches on. We'll interview them live, some bands and cheerleaders. Again, it's 5 to 6:45. Our friends from ESP Media be doing the production for us. Hope to see you out there early, but if you can't make it, you can listen and watch. Yes, I'm on video. That's scary, is it not? On Cincinnati.com, Fox 19's Facebook Live, and some of their OTT channels. We'll do that 5 to 6:45. And for any and all Skyline Chili Crosstown Showdown information, hit up the website, xtownshowdown.com, or follow us on Twitter at Xtown Showdown.
Should be a fun game.
It will be a fun one, no doubt. And coming up next, it's our Mercy Health Huddle, the source of health information for your student athlete.
Hi again, everybody. We're here with Dr. Michael Chin from Mercy Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine. And Dr. Chin, I can imagine most people watching at one time or another have probably suffered a sprained ankle. What exactly is a sprained ankle?
Well, a sprained ankle is usually when you stretch the ligaments that help support the ankle. You're right, it's actually one of the most common reasons for missed athletic participation. Usually happens when you turn or roll your ankle.
Okay, now how do I know if it is a sprained ankle, or maybe what are the symptoms, I guess?
Usually it's from pain. You'll have some pain or swelling around your ankle, usually on the front or on the outside of your ankle too. sometimes you're going to actually have pain where you can't even put weight on that leg.
And what should they do if you have an ankle sprain, or what are some of the treatments?
Usually the first thing you want to do is what we call RICE therapy, where the RICE stands for rest, ice, compression, and elevation. I also often recommend to my patients or athletes to take some anti-inflammatories like Advil or Aleve.
I'm sure time is part of the rehab process, but is there anything else you can do to rehab to come back quicker?
Actually, what we call functional rehab is actually probably one of the most important reasons or best ways to get back to play as soon as possible. And that usually includes 3 different things: getting your motion back, getting your strength back, and finally regaining your balance.
And then once an athlete comes back, how about ankle braces or tape? Obviously a good thing.
That's a really good thing sometimes because it helps stabilize the ankle, which then can help prevent re-injury.
Well, like you said, one of the more common injuries. Great information today, Doc. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
When it hurts to move, what often hurts most is the fact that you can't. Because every rebound is calling your name, and every dance should be danced. It's in moments like these that we step in to help you step back off the sidelines. Because it takes 2 to tango in this life, and you are meant to be the one. Mercy Health, healthcare for the universe of you. Find an orthopedic doctor at mercy.com/ortho.